Hi guys, welcome to another video on my channel, and in this video I'll be making a clone of the LinkedIn sign up page like this on the screen with just HTML, CSS and vanilla JavaScript. I'll be using the flex property and a bit of JavaScript just for the form validation like this. So if any of these two fields are unfilled, two inputs box are unfilled, and I click on the submit button, then this pops in right here. This please enter your email and enter a strong password. Once I fill this in like this and I press enter, it takes me down to the welcome page, which is practically not in LinkedIn, but we're just going to use this by ourselves. This is a welcome page. It's going to take us to. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Without further ado, let's jump in. So I'm going to head down to my text editor now. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code, so you can, if you are using that, then our working environment should be identical. So I'm going to come down here, and in my Visual Studio Code I just opened a folder and I named it LinkedIn sign up page like this. You can name it whatever you want, and I created three folders here. The first is the CSS folder. The second is an image folder with our image in it, our logo, this little logo. If you take a look at the final project right here, it has this logo, so we're going to be adding that too. So, and the third folder is just our JavaScript folder, which are completely empty. So now I'm going to create our index.html file at first. So say index.html and open it, so I can close this now. And I'm going to create a boilerplate with shift 1 tab, not this, shift 1 tab, and I would like to change the title to sign up and link. For some reason I can't type to the LinkedIn. And before I forget, I'd like to link our CSS, so link css/style.css, which we have not created. So let me just create that real quick. So I'll create it with style.css like this, and also create our JavaScript and name it app.js. So I also like to link our JavaScript in here, so you can say script source and js/app.js and save. So there's practically nothing in it. I'm going to be using live server extension of Visual Studio Code. So if you want to grab that, you can grab that from the extension box here, and where you can, here it is, and you can just download it. So what the live server does is that anytime I save a page, it automatically reloads it for me without me going to the hitting the reload button every time. So just to do that, I'm going to right click and go down to open with live server, and it's going to automatically open on my local on my default browser, which is Chrome, with the loopback address of 5501 and the name of the file like this. So just to test it out, if I head on here and I change this to sign and save, now this has changed to sign without me having to hit the reload button. So I'm going to return this back to sign, and it is fine. So there's one thing I would like to add before I forget, which is the icon, this little icon here. So I would like to add it, and I can close this now. I would like to add it, and towards it I'm going to use the icon link. So I'll say link, and don't worry about getting the image. I'm going to leave the code to the final project, to this final project in my GitHub page, and I'll leave the link in the description below, so you can grab you can grab the image there and the final project if you want to grab the final project. So I'm going to come here and say link, and I'll change this to icon, and the location, so it's in the images and LinkedIn logo. If I save and we take a look now, the logo has been added to it, which is what we want. So we're going to use our HTML5 semantic tag. So I'm going to create our header with an ID of main-header like this, and inside ID I'm going to also create a div with a class of header title. So I can just do the dot header dash title like this, not this, title like this, and it's automatically going to generate the div for us. And I can put in the text we want, which will be an H1 that will say linked but I'm supposed to put it in like this, but there's something I want to do. If you take a look at the final project, right here. If you notice, this link is in color of white, while this int is in another color, so it also has a different background color. So to do that, we're going to wrap the in a span with a class of text primary. So I'll say span with a class of text dash primary like this, and I'll say in. If I save, not there will be no different for now until we get this to the CSS. And below the header title, I'm also going to create a div with a class of header dash text like this, and I'll say make the most of your, for some reason cap lock is on, of your professional life. So that would be that for the header. And below the header, I'm going to create a section with I'll give it a class of main dash section. So a class of main dash section, and inside the section I'm going to have a form. No, it's not going to go anywhere for now. I'll give it a class, also a class of my dash form, so we can style it within our JavaScript. And inside the form, I'm going to create a div with the class of form dash group, more like adopting Bootstrap class. It's just the name, I'm not using Bootstrap. So, and inside this space, I'm going to have a label that goes to for email dash input, and it will say email like this. And below the label, I have an input with a type of email, and also have an ID of email dash input. Save now, and we take a look at our browser. It looks just like this, and I spelled it wrongly, so I would like to check it. And right here, I will change this to D and also off. So if I save and take a look, it looks like this. So now we would like to have the password input, so I'm just going to copy this to once more and change this to password, and also password, and right here I'll change this to password and also password like this. So if I take a look now, it looks like this, which is better. And I would also like to add more things to this label. I'm going to be like this, and I'll say 6 or more characters. So below the second div with the class of form group, I'm going to have a div again with the class of helper dash text, just telling them just a little thing. And inside I'm going to have a small tag, and inside the small tag I'll say by clicking agree and join, which is going to be the button. You agree to the LinkedIn. Then below that I'm going to create a span with a class of text dash primary again, and inside the span I'm going to have an a tag that goes nowhere for now, and in here I'm going to say user agreement, and I'm going to copy this down 2 more times, but I would like to change this first. This should be privacy policy, and also this would be cookie policy like this. And I would like to add some comma here like this. So if I see, when we take a look, it looks like this. Like this is what we're styling right now, this. So it looks like this. So below the div with the class of helper text, below the div we are going to have another form group. So div with the class of form dash group, And in here we're just going to have our button, so it's going to be an input formulated as a button. So say input with a type of submit, and also a value, of agree, agree, and for some reason I can't type at all today. Agree and join. I'm also going to add a class of submit that btn like this. If I save and take a look, it looks like that, which is fine. So below the form group again, also I'm going to have a paragraph with a class of sign dash in dash text, and in here we're going to have an a tag that goes nowhere for now, and in here we're going to say already on LinkedIn, and I'll put an a tag again. And this is wrong, sorry about this. I'm going to cut this out and paste it here, and also have the closing tag like this, and already on LinkedIn, then sign in. So if I save and take a look, it looks like this. So we are almost through the HTML, but there is one last thing we have to do, which is the footer right here. So let us just add that and know that we can say bye bye to the HTML. So I'm going to create a footer tag with an ID of main dash footer, and inside the footer we're going to have our LinkedIn linked, but the same thing we want to happen at the top here. If you notice, this is a different color. Why this is a different color? The same thing is applicable to here. This is a different color. Why this is a different color? So to do that, we're going to use our span tag again. So say linked, and I'll put a span, and I'll say in like this, and beside it we're going to have our copyright symbol, and I'll say it's this has to get the copyright symbol 2020. If you have to save and take a look, it now looks like this. For some reason I would like to check, there's a little space between this which I don't want, so how can I get rid of that? Let me see. What about like this? Okay, now this looks better. So this is all for the HTML. I know this looks like crap, but don't worry, we're going to style this in our style sheet. So head on to our style sheet right now, and in our CSS I would just like to do some basic reset. So to do, I'm going to do asterisk, then give it a margin of 0, and also a padding of 0, and box sizing of border box like this, so it gets rid of all default styling. So now it's all stuck to the left, which is fine. So what we want to do now is, what I want to do is give the body some basic styling. So say for the body, I want to give it a font family of Vedena Genovib, and give it a font size of 17 pixels. I also like to give it a line height of 1.8 and save. So if you take a look, it looks like this now, which is still better. So let's add the background color now, and in the final project, this is not just a solid color, this is a linear, like a gradient. Because if we notice, this piece is a little bit darker than this. So to do that, we're going to use the linear gradient. So it's not going to be a background color, but a background image. So I can say background dash image, and I'll say linear gradient, and I want it to go 45 degree. Then this is the first parameter that's going to take, which is the direction we want it to go, and now the colors. So I want it to be let me say 0073 B1 rather, and also 0C8996. So if I'm to save, I'm going to take a look, it looks like this. If you notice, this is a bit different from this. The reason is because there is no height to the background image, so I'm going to give it an height of 100 viewport height and save. Now it has occupied the whole screen. If you notice, this is the color that is in here. Well, we're going to style this in a minute because this looks like crap, so I would like to change the color to a white color and save. It looks like this. So to center everything horizontally and vertically, I will be using the flex property right here. So in the bodies, I'm going to use a display of flex, and once I save, then it's going to be like this, which looks terrible. This is not what we want, but we're going to deal with this. We're going to give it an align item to the center and justify content to the center. So if I save and we take a look, now it is centered horizontally and also vertically, but we don't want it to be in this direction. We want it to be in a column, not a row, because right now this is in a row direction. So to do that, we're going to say flex direction to colon, and once I save and take a look, now it has formatted it for us by itself, which is in its shape we want. I also like to give it text align to the center also, so now they're all aligned to the center, which is fine. So now what I would like to style next is the header itself, because right now this looks like rubbish. So let us come to our text editor, and I'll call the header tag, and I'll give it a color of white, give it a font size of 2.4 rem, like this, and save. Oops, rem. For some reason I can't type. Okay, now I have saved, but this looks so big, which is not what I want. Okay, I forgot, this should be the H1 in it. Okay, now this looks better. I was scared. So this looks better. I would like to grab the header itself, so I'll say header and give it a margin of 1 rem at the top and bottom and 0 left and right. If I save it, it looks like this. So this is nice. I also like to deal with this color now, this design, what we did in this place. So I'm going to call the span tag in it. Remember, in the index HTML file, we have it wrapped in the span tag with the class of text primarily. So I'm going to call that now, and I'll give it say dot. Let me see, the header and the span tag in it. I'll give it a background color of white, and I'll give it a color of this color right here. So I'm just going to copy and paste it in here. So if I save and take a look, it looks like this. So I also like to give it a little bit of styling, so I'll give it a padding, because they're all stuck to the side of 0 at the top and bottom, 0.2 rem at the left and right, and also a border radius to have some curved edges of 7 pixels. So if I save and take a look, now it looks like this, just like the original, which is nice. It looks like this, and we are almost through with this header side, but I would also like to deal with this header text here, because right now it is way too small. So I'm going to call it has a class of header dash text, and I'll give it a font size of 1.5 rem, and also a margin of 0.5 rem top and bottom, 0 at the right, 1 rem at the bottom rather, and 0 at the left. So if I save and take a look, now it looks bigger, it looks better. So we're almost through with this header. In fact, we are through. So let's head on to the form now, because right now this form looks terrible. So remember, we have give the form a class of my form. So I can copy this and style this in here. I think that's my form, and I would like to give it a background color of a very light gray, which will be EDF 0F3 like this, and give it a color of 333, a very dark gray. If I say when we take a look, it looks like this, which is nice. I would like to give it a width of 30 viewport width and also some padding, so they're not all stuck to the side of the form. So give it a padding of 0.8 rem all around, and also a margin bottom to push the footer below, so of 20%. So if I save and take a look, now this footer is all the way here, which is fine, and these are some default padding around it, which is nice. So now what I would like to style now is the input, the label, and also the button. So to do that, I'm not going to style them all at once. So say input, label, and also the buttons like this. Now I'll give them some default styling. So display block, and give the text line to the left right there, and also a width of 100% of its container. If I save and take a look, now it looks like this. Almost there, guys, and I'm coming. So I would like to style the form group itself, because each label and input are wrapped in a div of form group. So I'm going to style this now. Copy this and head on to our CSS and give it some dot form group, and I'll give it a padding, also padding of 0.5 rem at the top and bottom, and 1 rem at the left and right. If I save and take a look, now there's a bit of space between, which is better. I would like to style the label because they are way too big. So I'll say label and give it a font size of 13 pixels. So if I save, and that looks better. So also the input looks like crap, so not like this. So the input, I'll give them a padding in the top and bottom of 0.5 rem and 1 rem left and right. I'll also give them a border of 2 pixels solid, and the background color right here. So I'm going to grab this. Let me grab this and paste it in here. I also like to remove the outline because I don't want any outline, so I'll say outline none. So if I save and take a look right now, it looks like this. Don't worry about this submit button, I'm going to deal with that in a minute. So this tool looks better. So in fact, let us deal with the submit button right now. So remember, we give the input a class of submit-btn, so I can just come here and give it a text align to the center, give it a background color of this color right here, so it is all covered. Copy and paste this in here. I'd like to remove the border to none and also the outline to none. Okay, I've done that earlier, so I can just get rid of this. So if I save and take a look, it looks like this. I would like to change the color to a white color, sorry about that, and also increase the font size to 1 rem and font weight to border. See if I'm to save and take a look, it looks like this. It looks like this. I also like to make it a cursor of pointer, so I'll say cursor pointer, and I guess that is all. So like this, but I would like to have an over effect on this, so I'm just going to do that real quick. I'll say submit button, then the over effect. I just want to reduce the opacity to 0.9 and save. So if I hover this, the opacity should reduce, and like that, but there is still a problem. It just flicks into the over state. So to fix that, that is simple. I'm just going to add a transition to it. So say transition or 0.5 seconds and ease out. So if I save and take a look now, if I hover over this, then it transitions into the over state real smooth, unlike when it just flicks into the screen. So I see we are almost through with this, but there is still something we want to deal with now, which is this place, because right now this looks like crap. The font size is too big, and this link item, let us start this link item right now. And if you remember, in the index.html file, we wrapped all the link item in a span with a class of text primary. So we're going to start that in a minute. So I'm just going to go all the way to the top of our style sheet and say, for all 8 tags right here, I like putting it at the top, for all 8 tags, and I want to change the color to this color right here. So I'm going to copy this and paste this in. I also remove all text, all underlines. So say text as decoration to none. So if I'm to save and take a look, now it looks like this, which is much more better. So but the font size is still way too big, so I'm going to deal with that in a minute. But let us deal with that now. So remember, in the index.html file, we gave it a class of helper text. So I'm going to copy this and style it within our style sheet dot helper text. Then the small tag in it, I want to give it a font size of 0.7 rem, and that should be all. Let me see if I take a look. Now it has reduced. Now the font size is normal, it is nice and good. So I also like to give the helper text itself some styling, so I'll copy this and paste it here, and I'll give it, let me say, a text line, not text emphasize, align to the center, and also give it some padding of 0.2 rem at the top and bottom, and 2 rem at the left and right. So if I'm to save and take a look, now it looks like this, which is much more better. It's almost identical to the final project right here. So right now I would like to deal with this sign in page, because right now it looks so big and horrendous. So to do that, I'm going to come to our style sheet and I'll say dot sign dash in dash text. Remember, we gave it a class of sign in dash text for some reason. Okay, like this. So this is what I'm talking about right here. So where are you? Yes, this paragraph is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to come here and give it some styling. So I'll give it a margin, margin on the top and bottom of 1 rem and 0 at the left and right. I'll also give it, reduce the font size to 14 pixels. See if I'm to save and take a look. Now it looks like this, which is much more better. So guys, we are almost through with this. But there is still one thing I would like to do before we head on to our JavaScript. So I'd like to style this footer itself. Right now it looks like this. So I'm going to head on and call the footer. Remember, we give it an ID. Let me confirm. Is it an ID or a class? Okay, an ID of main footer. So I'm going to copy this and come here, an ID of main footer, and I would like to give it some styling, because right now it looks like crap. So I'll give it an height of 60 pixels. I'll give it a background color of this form. The background color we gave the form is what I want to give it. So I'm going to copy this and paste it right in here. So if I'm to save, okay, it looks like this. We cannot see because the text is white. So let me change the color to a really dark gray, and also like to give it a width of 100%, and save. Now it is 100% across the whole screen, which is like this. But I would like to push this down a little bit and also center it vertically and horizontally. So to do that, I'm going to use display flex, and if I save this now, it looks like this. It is all the way to this side. So I'm going to say align items to the center, not this, and justify content to the center. If I save and take a look now, it is all it is now centered vertically and also horizontally. So I like to reduce the font size. So I'll say font size of 14 pixels, and that should be it. Okay, now the font size is reduced. But guys, there's a little problem right here, because if this content is not as much as this, then this footer will be all the way around here. If this content ends around here, then this footer will be up. So let me just show you. So if I come to my index and I comment out this line and I save, now the footer is up here, which we don't want that to happen. We want it to stay at the bottom even if the content ends around here. So to do that, we're going to use our CSS positioning. So let me just do that to show you. So I'm going to say position, not fixed, but not relative, but fixed, like this. And if I save, it's going to look like this, which is not what we want. So we have access to any of these four attributes, which is the top, which is the bottom, the right, and the left. So I just want it to be in the bottom at 0% to the bottom. So if I save now and take a look, now it is at the bottom 0%. So even if we don't have enough content, if I also come here and comment this out, let me see, and I comment this out and save, now this is smaller, but this did not jump on right below here. It is still staying at the bottom, which is what we want. So I'm just going to uncomment this like this, and it should still work like this. So I guess we are through with our CSS, our styling. Okay, now this is the last thing remaining, because if we take a look at the final project, this has a different background color as this. So to do that, remember we wrapped where are you we wrap the in a span tag, the foot inside the footer, wrap it in a span tag. So I'm just going to call that right now and give it I'll say the id of main dash footer, the span tag in it, and I'll give it a background color of a really dark gray and change the color back to a white color. If I save and take a look, it looks like this, which is not what I want. So let me take a look real quick. For some reason, okay, now it is working. So this is the color. So I would like to give it a padding, some padding of 0 at the top and bottom, 0.2 rem at the left and right, and also a margin. So margin 0 at the top, 0.2 rem at the right, and 0 at the rest. If I save and it looks like this, I would like to give it a border radius for some curved edges. So I'll say border radius of 2 pixels and save. Now this looks like this, like the final project. And I guess we are through with styling and CSS. So now let us confirm this looks nice. Okay, so now let us go to our JavaScript. So right now I'll head on to my text editor right here and go into my JavaScript file. So right here, just to test if our JavaScript file is working, I'm going to use an alert, and the alert to say 1 2 3 4 5 and save. Once I done here, now this is showing that it is working. So this is working, and I'll just get rid of this. I really like mapping out what I'm doing. So I'll say selectors. This will be the events, and this will be our functions that we'll be calling. So in the selectors, I would like to put my form in a constant of my form, and call it with document.query selector, or selector, not selector, or I like to set the class of my dash form, because that's the class we give the form right here. So class of my dash form, like this. And I also like to call our email input equals to document.query selector, and we give it an ID of email dash input, and also our password. So to do that, I can just copy this down with Alt Shift down, and this will be password, and just add on right here and change this to password like this. What else do we need? I guess that's all. And the event, now we're adding on to the event. So what we want to do is we want to add an event listener to this, to the form. So say my form dot add event listener. I want to listen for a submit event. So we say submit, and we'll give it a named function of form submitted like this. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm just going to call this function, and I'll say function, then paste it, and it's going to take in the event parameter. I can just event or ordinary e and like this. So what is happening right now is that I want to check if this my form is submitted, because this is a form submit event. So if it is submitted, then let me just do a simple console.log, then my form is submitted. So to test this out, I'm just going to add on to my browser, and I've opened my developer tool already. So to open yours, you can just use F12 or Ctrl Shift I. Anyone you use, you can use to open your browser. So right now, if I should click on this submit button, then I want you to take a look at this my console here. So if I click on this, you will notice that it just flicks into the screen and goes. What is really happening is that because it is a submit event, it's actually submitting it somewhere, but on a normal form it is going to submit it to maybe an online server or a PHP something like that. But right now we don't want that to happen. So to prevent that from happening, we're going to prevent the default. We're going to say e.prevent default like this and save. So if I should add on here now and click and reload and click on this, it should actually stay. Now it is staying, and for some reason my button outline is showing, which I would like to get rid of that. So in my CSS, let me see, where can I deal with that? Right here. Okay, I comment it out mistakenly. So if I save, it looks like this. So now we are fine. So if I keep clicking, it keeps saying my form is submitted, which is not what we want. So what we want to happen is that we want to at first check if the email input is empty and also if the password input is empty. So to do that, let me just comment, let me put a comment here and say check if the email input is empty, and so we're going to use that if statement. So say if so in here I'll say email input dot value equals to an empty string. So this is the way to check if it is empty. So if it equals to an empty string, then what I want you to do is console.log email input is empty. I'm going to use an else statement right here. So else, that means if it is not empty, if it is not empty, then console.log email input is failed like this. So if I'm to save and we take a look now, maybe I should reload and I click on this, notice the email input is empty. Once I click on this, it is saying email input is empty, and once I fill in something, this is in by default. So once I fill in something and I click, then this is saying email input is filled. We can even do something that is really cool. That is by console logging whatever is being typed in here to the console. To do that, we're just going to say how we're going to do that. We're going to use some backtext. So we'll say backtext and use our money sign. We'll put some curly braces and we'll say let me say email input like this dot value. See if I'm to save now, check it out. If I click on this, it is empty, so it will say email input dot empty. If I click on Brad at gmail.com, no, not gmalik, gmail.com, and I submit, now it's going to say Brad at gmail.com, which is working. If I change this to this and I click, it's going to actually console whatever is being typed in. This is actually cool, but that's not what we want, so I'm just going to get rid of this else statement. And also this, we just check if it is working, and it is now working. So what we want to do is we want to add a placeholder saying that the user should please enter their email. So we're going to email input dot placeholder equals to please enter your email, like this, and save. So if we take a look at our browser now, we click on this without anything being in it. Now it is working. The same, please enter your email. So that is that. So we just want to do the same thing for the password, and to do that we can just copy this one more time, and I will just change this to, I would also like to grab the next email input with Control D and say password input, like this. So I'll say please enter a strong password, like this, and save. So if I click on this now, while it is empty, it is telling me that please enter your email and enter your password. If I reload and enter an email and I click, this will come up, and if I do the same thing for this, like this, and just type in something here, this will come off. So we are almost through, guys, but there's one more thing we would like to add, because in the final project, if we click on this, the color of the placeholder changes into a red color, more like an orange red. So to do that, we're just going to add a class to the email input. I'm going to style that in our CSS. So to do that, I'm going to come here and I'll say email input dot class list dot add. I'll add, not like that, we'll add a class of error, like this, and I'm also going to do the same thing for this. I'll say password input dot class list dot add, and also add the class of error, and save. So I'm going to add on to my style.css and style it. So where would I like to put this? I like to put it above the footer itself. So I'll say dot error, then the placeholder, and do like this, and I'll change the color just to an orange red, and save. So if I'm to add on to my browser here and I click on this, now the color has changed into a red color, and if I should type in something, the color will still be a dark gray, which is what we want, like this. So there's now one more thing we would like to do, is that if we take a look at the final project, let me just make this a little bit smaller. If we take a look at the final project, like this, so if we add in something and also this will take us to a welcome page, like a LinkedIn welcome page, and this can return us back to the sign up page. So I can just type in something and click on this. So to make this type of effect, we're going to use an else statement now. So I'm going to head on to my app.js and I'll say else, and it's a function called windows.locate. Then where we want to locate it to is a welcome.html file, which we have not created. So we just save and take a look. So this is what we are on. If I click on this will come up, and if I put in something real quick and click on this is giving us an error because we do not have a welcome.html page. But let us quickly create that one right now. So I'm just going to open this, and in here I'm going to create a welcome.html page, and in here I'm just going to, let me see, I will just copy all of this and read out some stuff. So you want to copy all of this and paste it in here. So right here I will just try to change this to let me see, welcome to LinkedIn, like this. And yeah, let me see, this should be well, let me just leave that and let me see, welcome to LinkedIn, like this. And I can get rid of this and also everything inside the form. I can get rid of that. And let me see, what else do we need to add to it? Inside this section here, I would like to create a button. Okay, before that I would like to wrap the button inside an a tag that will take us to index.html, and inside the a tag I'll create a button with the class of return dash home, and in here I would say return to sign up, like this. If I have to save and take a look, let me see. So if I put in something there and click on this, it's actually brought us here. So this is showing us some error. Okay, let us get rid of this JavaScript, we don't need it, and save. So it looks like this. Right now it looks like crap. We're almost through, guys. So I just like to style this button in our CSS. So we gave the button a class of return button. So in our CSS I'll just like to call the button itself. So I'll say where should I put you? Right here I'll say dot return dash home. Let's give it let me see, a padding of 0.7 rem on top and bottom and 5 rem on the left and right. I already change the color to this color, this hexadecimal color here, and also give it a background color of this this one right here. And what else? Let us save and take a look. It looks like this. I'd like to remove all the border, so border none, and also outline none. If I save, it looks like this. I like to, let me see, up the font size a little bit, so font size of 1 rem and font weight of border. If I save, it looks like this. What else do we want to add to this? Let me see, cursor pointer, and that should be all. So if I'm to save and close this, it looks like this, but I would like to, let me see, make it stay at the top because right now it is in the middle. So to do that, well, there's no need, you can just leave it alone like this. This is still beautiful, and if we click on this, it actually takes us to the sign up page, and when we click on this we can add something and to take us right to the welcome page. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you like the video, leave a comment if you have other questions. I promise to reply. Please subscribe if you haven't, and please turn on the notification for more of my videos. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.